There's a storm brewing. You might not know it yet. That's my job. Actually, I don't. I still not entirely clear on what my job is. I think it's probably framing myself up properly with this camera, which I don't know if I can manage to do. I am at home. I'm at home for Thanksgiving, which is solid American holiday where I'm going to drink a few beers, watch a little bit of football, our football, and put down a truly unholy amount of food. Pretty sure whatever deity you might be praying to would be offended by the amount of food that I am going to eat over the course of this week, but that's just something I have to look forward to in the future. Kind of like the story that we're talking about today, because it's a bubbling. It's just chilling out there. It's floating towards an inevitable conclusion, a crash landing that very well might rip at the fabric of a very successful season that is happening right now. I don't mean to make it sound that ominous, right? But there's something going on. That something is at Liverpool. I know. Zealand. What are you going to do? Make a video bashing Liverpool? No, of course not. They've had a wonderful season. 31 points from your first 12 matches would indicate that. That's pretty freaking good. But Mo Salah. Yeah, I'd probably like put him on the thumbnail or something so that's not a giant reveal. I mean, who knows what I'm going to do? Future me is going to be wild and crazy with it. Maybe I'll just put my own mustachioed 5 o'clock shadowed face on the thumbnail because, I like to make your day with just a cameo every once in a while on the homepage there on YouTube. But Mo Salah, he comes out of a contract at the end of the season. And normally, I mean, he's 32 years old, right? This is basically Wayne Rooney was already retired at this point. He's going to turn 33 in the middle of this next summer. And, he's coming to the end of his contract. You would think, well, we're just going to get rid of Mo Salah. It's logical. It's time for him to go, collect a giant bag in Saudi Arabia for a couple of years, and then hang him up. The problem for Liverpool and for Mo Salah, I guess, is that Liverpool has been amazing. And Mo Salah has 22 goal contributions in 18 matches. So he has been amazing. He's been the best player in the Premier League for my money over the course of this first part of the season. He's obviously managed to do it in all competitions. He is playing at a level which, in my opinion, matches any level he's reached at any point in his career. And he's 32 years old, and he's making a base salary of like over 350,000 with potential amplifications for performance achievements. He can get up close to $1 million a week right now with his wage. So if he's asking for more than that, that's obviously going to be very difficult. Now, I don't know the structure of any of the potential deals offered. I know that might surprise you. You expect me to be incredibly connected with the inner circle of Mo Salah and or Liverpool, and I really hate to let you down on that. But the reason that this has come to the fore is because he has started talking about it. This is not something you think about with Mo Salah, but he has said in a post-match interview, which The Guardian acknowledges in this article by Andy Hunter here, that he doesn't normally give in the first place. So I am of the belief that this was some sort of strategy, right? Which I'm not saying that is a bad thing, right? Having a strategy for a negotiation is not a bad thing. But he stopped, talked to the media, said he's more out than in at Liverpool, right? He said that it's not in his hands. They make a note that he said it's not in his hands multiple times. That the deal is essentially out of his hands at this point, and that he feels like he's more out than in based off of where the negotiations are at this particular stage. And might I say that I think, there's a couple different thoughts going on here. But first of all, this is genius because Liverpool can smell the roses. Liverpool can taste it. Liverpool's looking down the barrel at a miraculous first season for Arne Slot here. And they've been given the glorious gift of a Manchester City that just blows right now. They suck. You've caught a vibe. People are making a lot of jokes, obviously, about the fact that, Jurgen Klopp was so close to hitting the promised land where Man City finally fell apart. But the truth is, Arne Slot's come in, and this team looks better than the team that Jurgen Klopp had just left. Right? Somehow they look even better. They look rejuvenated. Perhaps it's the knowledge that Manchester City is not the buzzsaw that it has been. And that gives you a little pep in your step. But Liverpool is hitting a zenith of a high right now, injected straight into their veins. 8 points clear after 12 matches. 8. Are you joking? And they will want to do everything to keep that vibe good. I mean, you don't want, when you're rolling like that, you don't want anything that could possibly mess it up. Which brings us back to this. because it's genius. It's not the first time Mo Salah has done this either. And I don't know who his team is. I don't know who his manager is or his agent. I don't care, right? They're just people. And Mo Salah has been instructed and or participated in the decision-making. Probably he decided to do this, to step out and say these things, and it's brilliant. It's so smart. Because if you're Liverpool, what do you want to do? You want to put this fire out. Because Mo Salah has just kick-started an ember. There's now an ember burning. People will forget about it pretty soon. But that ember is there. It's always there somewhere in the back of your mind. Every time you're watching Liverpool, every time you see Mo Salah run onto the field. Oh, yeah, I remember Mo Salah's kind of in the last year of his contract. I don't wonder what's going to happen with that. It's just lurking. And now you're thinking about this season that they're having, and it's just lurking there. Just waiting. Festering. Right? It's just festering. And Liverpool will want to put that out. You are encouraging them to want to put that out. But the second part, I told you there's going to be multiple tangents here. Not just the fact that this plan is genius, also the fact I don't think it's a bad deal for Liverpool. Let me tell you why. Right? Because I get that it is very in vogue for clubs to attempt to anticipate the decline of their players. Okay? We're seeing the same thing happen with Kevin De Bruyne. He's a year older and he's had bigger injury issues, right? So this is a different situation, but that they're kind of stalling out with the contract discussions with KDB. Okay, there are players, you get to a certain point and you go, yeah, is it going to be worth it to give them another contract? Are they still going to be good at the end of the contract? Because the last thing these clubs want to do is get caught holding the bag and paying somebody that's not as good as what they're paying him. But I do think that we might have swung a little too far in that direction, right? Where you've got teams determined to only buy young players. And, absolutely, that's not a bad idea, okay? Because a lot of teams have lost a lot of money by buying players they believed in the prime of their careers, and it's just not done well, and there's no resale value. But there is now an obsession with resale value. There is now an obsession with maximizing value to a point that you're actually overlooking potential value. Right, well, that's what it means. If you swung too far in the other direction, you build this team like Chelsea have done of 18 to 22-year-olds. And I told you guys, I thought it was going to work. You just had to give Chelsea a little time. And they are playing better, obviously, this year. They're in the conversation for a Champions League spot, which is back in the conversation, at least, obviously, early in the season. But what I mean when I say it swings too far in the other direction is I don't think Mo Salah is the same as some of these other guys, as Wayne Rooney, for example. Where you're trying to project the end of somebody's career and you're saying, well, Mo Salah is 32. He's going to turn 33 at the start of next season. Why would we give a 2-3-year contract to that guy? Well, let me show you why you should do that. Because not only is Mo Salah obviously a brilliant Premier League winger right now. Good luck finding somebody that's going to give you more goal contributions than matches played over the course of a season. I mean, he's on an absolute tear. Okay, he's on a tear. He's on the best goal-scoring pace in the Premier League. If he scored at this pace, he would dramatically outperform the best season he's ever had in the Premier League alone in terms of goal-scoring, with the exception, obviously, of the season in 2017-2018, when he had 32 goals and 10 assists. But his assist numbers are obviously coming in at a higher clip, a higher percentage of what he's doing. So you can make the argument he's on pace to have the best season of his career, which is insane because we know that this guy has had some amazing seasons, particularly that one season that set the tone and everybody went, holy shit, this guy's amazing. But that's not what I want to look at. I want to scroll down a little farther. Okay. In 2010, in the 2010-2011 season in the Egyptian Premier League is the first time that we see Mo Salah as a regular first-team player. Okay, he plays 25 top-level competitive matches in that season as an 18-year-old, which is already a little later than a lot of these guys. Okay, then he moves to Europe, and it's the 2012-2013 season, 2 years later, at the age of 20, that he plays 29 matches with Basel. He also plays 14 European League matches and 5 Swiss Cup matches. The following season, those numbers are reduced as he's transferred to Chelsea, where he plays 10 matches over the course of that season for a grand total of 28 league matches, somewhere between 30 and 40 overall matches played. But if you look at what he did over the next couple of years, you'll see that through to the 2015-2016 season, Mo Salah did not play over 16 top flight matches in any season. Right here, you will see that Mo Salah has played one season in a major competitive European league where he played over 10 matches. Sorry, it's 11 matches because he made one FA Cup appearance in that match with Chelsea, where he had multiple years where he didn't play a lot and 2 years where he played significantly, one for Basel and then one in the Egyptian Premier League, which is, to be fair, a very different level of competition. Very different level of competition, level of intensity that's being expected of and performed by these players. By the time he plays his first season with over 40 matches played, he's 22. He's older than Jude Bellingham is right now. He plays 41 matches, including 7 in the Champions League. That is his first major top flight season. And ever since then, he has been a regular top flight player, which means Mo Salah has been at it playing the elite world-class type schedule for 10 years, from the age of 22 to the age of 32. And I honestly would use that to make the argument that if you were trying to add up the miles on somebody's legs, Wayne Rooney lasted 15 years before he hung it up and called it a day, playing major top flight matches. Neymar, same thing. Lasted 11, 12 years, major top flight level. That's not counting the few years he was up there with Santos, and he folded out with injuries. He was somebody that had diabolical injury problems that Mo Salah just does not have, right? He clearly does not put himself in a position where he gets hurt at the same clip. Now, I'm not a freaking scientist. I'm just saying that the argument in not giving these types of people's contracts is trying to project their demise. And it is clear that if you look throughout the world of football, people decline at very different rates. Very different rates. I mean, Lionel Messi played a World Cup for the ages, and he was 4 years older than Mo Salah is right now. Salah's not Messi. I'm not saying that. But is Salah Tim Ream? Because Tim Ream played in the Premier League until he was 37. At the age of 35, Pep Guardiola told Tim Ream, an American, by the way, playing for Fulham, that if he was 10 years younger, he'd sign him. It's a quote. And Tim Ream was playing at that level at 35. And it's fucking Tim Ream. He never got anywhere, no offense. He's a friend of the podcast. I think you would agree he never got anywhere near the level of Mo Salah. As much as he was a fantastic, skillful defender, right? He was never Mo Salah. He was never the best player in the Premier League at any point. Mo Salah's there, and he's kind of there right now. And if you see a way that a 2-year contract is possible, I see literally no reason not to take it. I think 4, right, I need to qualify it with this because I don't know what Mo is asking for. I think a 4-year contract would be dicey. Right, because then you're talking getting up to 36 and you're talking getting towards 14, 15 years of playing major top flight schedules. And that's when you tend to start to see, looking at this sort of stuff, people not be able to keep it in their legs anymore. But 2 or 3 years, age 33, age 34 season, up to an age 35 season, I don't see any reason not to do that. Obviously, Mo Salah's negotiation strategy is fantastic here. But let's be real. Let's be real about what we're doing here. Because I feel like a lot of these guys are getting let go a little early, and you're missing out. You're so excited to get into the rebuild that you're not giving these guys the opportunity to keep playing at their prime level, really, is what we're talking about here. That's wild. Just something I saw.